Welcome to 6.4, parallel and perpendicular lines. So parallel lines are lines that never, oh my goodness, meet. So that they run right next to each other, going in the same directions, never will meet. The symbol for these, pretty much just two parallel lines. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. So that would be, kind of looks like I guess an upside down T. It could be a T. And that's the symbol, actually. The symbol is an upside down T. To determine it algebraically, if 2 points or if a line is parallel, the slopes would match. They're the same. So it'd be like y equals 2/3 x plus 7 and y equals 2/3 x minus 5. Well, the slopes, the m, matches on both. So those would be parallel. Perpendicular, the slopes are opposite signs and reciprocals. Which means, so for example, so it'd be like the fraction is flipped. So if I had 2/3 is your slope of their first equation, the second equation is going to be y equals, so it's going to be opposite sign. So it was positive 2/3, so it's going to be negative, and then it's flipped. The numerator and denominator are flipped. So it's, instead of 2/3, it's going to be 3/2 x plus, and it doesn't matter the number at all. It's all about the slope. All right, so we need to determine if these are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So to do this, I have coordinates. So I'm going to find the first one. So you got to find the slopes. So I'm going to label x2, x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have line AB, the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 3/4. Now let's go with BCD. xy, xy. And I'm using the slope formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So CD, the line CD slope is y2, which I don't have labeled yet. So 1s, 2s. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Numerator simplifies to 3, denominator simplifies to 4. Let's compare these fractions. 3/4, 3/4. Well, they're the same. If they're the same, then they are parallel. So that's my answer, parallel. All right, looking at the next ones. So AB, label xy, 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 xy. First coordinate, second coordinate, so it's AB's slope. The slope of AB is going to be 4 minus 2, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 2/5. So now we're looking at slope CD. So line CD, xy, xy, first coordinate, second coordinate, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 3 minus 8 is -5. 3 minus 1 is 2. All right, let's see what's up with these. So one's positive, one's negative. It's positive 2/5, negative 2/5. So they're opposite signs, and then they are flipped. 2/5 and 5/2. So they got flipped. They're reciprocals of each other. So this means they are perpendicular. So if you were to draw those lines, they would be perpendicular to each other. All right, let's take a look at number 3. So we have x, y, x, y. First coordinate, second coordinate. So line AB, the slope is 6 minus 8, 2 minus -1. So -2 in the numerator, 3 in the denominator. Nothing to simplify. CD's slope is x, y, so 1, 2, so it's y2 minus y1, x2 minus, whoa, getting a little fancy, getting a little crazy here, x2 minus x1. Gotta keep this stuff straight. That's 1/4. Let's compare what we got going on. Anything good? Not really. 2/3. Well, they have one's positive, one's negative. That's good, but the numbers are not reciprocal, so this would be neither. Neither parallel or perpendicular. Number 4, you have x, y, first coordinates, second coordinates, 4, so you have 4 y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 1/3 is the slope. CD, xy, first coordinates, second coordinates. So we have 6 minus 3, -4 minus -5. That's 3/1, which is 3. So we have one's positive slope, negative slope, and we can also write this, if you want to put a negative out front. So one's positive, one's negative. And then look at are they reciprocals? So if you flip those, is it the same? Yeah, it's the same thing. So that means they are perpendicular. All right, given the equations, let's look at our slope. Well, this is in y equals mx plus b form. So both of them are. So our slope is 7, Those are parallel. Over here, the next one, we have y equals mx plus b, y equals. So let's look at our slopes. 4/5, 5/4. So that means they're flipped, and one's negative, one's positive. So they are perpendicular. Reciprocal and opposite operations. All right, number 7. Well, that's not as easy as number 6 and number 5 because it's not solved for. We got to solve for y on this. So I need to move a term. So I'm going to move x. X minus x gets simplified. It's a positive 6y plus 6y, so it's a positive 6y that comes down. I'm going to write that x term first because ultimately we're trying to get this to y equals mx plus b. The 30 is positive, so plus 30. We're then going to divide by 6 and divide every term by 6. And you get 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times y is y. We got a -1 here. We're going to pull that -1 out with the 6 because that's going to be our slope. And then 30 divided by 6 is 5. All right, so that's the slope. So we got to keep this in mind. There's -1/6 is our slope of our first line. Second is going to be, looks like we just have to divide by 3 to get the y totally by itself. So it's y equals 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 divided by 3 is, not plus, -2. Looking at our slopes, I'm going to put the 6 represented as a fraction, so 6/1. So if 6 is positive, -1/6 is negative, so that's good. So you have, this is positive, this is negative, cool. And then 6/1 is flipped. So flipped meaning, what is going on here? Uh-oh. What happened? My bad. Sorry. So these are perpendicular. All right, next one. I need to solve for y again. So subtract, move your terms. So we got to subtract 3x, because 3x is positive. So we're moving this whole term. That negative, make sure to bring that down. That's going to be one that we're going to forget. Is a negative 3x. That 2 is positive, so it'll be plus 2. That's a negative 1 times y, so we divide by negative 1. Anytime you multiply or divide, you have to multiply or divide every term by it. Negative 3 divided by negative 1 is a positive 3. 2 divided by negative 1 is a negative 2. So don't really care too much about that, but there's my slope. Let's look at our second equation. Subtract 12x, subtract 12x. Negative 4y equals negative 12x, that's positive 4, so plus 4. Divide by negative 4. So the y is going to equal negative divided by negative is a positive. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And minus 1. So it looks like our slopes are the same. So this is parallel. Perfect. Parallel lines. Oh, back to it. All right, cool. Negative, positive, and then 1/3, 1/3. No, they're not reciprocal, so neither. Close. Number 10, y equals is a horizontal line. X equals is a vertical line. If you have one horizontal and one vertical line, that's going to form a 90-degree angle, which means they're perpendicular. All right, we are going to move on to parallel examples and perpendicular examples. So we're going to write the equation of a line that passes through the point. So it's going to go through the point, negative 2, 7, and has a parallel. So what does that mean about our slope? They're going to be the same slope. So we're going to have the slope of negative 4. To do it on the graph, we're going to go to negative 2, 7, 1, 2. So negative 2 means left 2, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need to have the same slope because they're parallel. Thinking of our slope as negative 4 over 1. So we're going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. That's not the y-intercept. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. That is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is negative 1. So in the formula y equals mx plus b, we have the slope because we want them parallel, so it's negative 4. And then the y-intercept is negative 1, so it's plus a negative 1 or minus 1. To do this algebraically, I'm just going to do this graphically. So perpendicular, so you write an equation of a line that's perpendicular, it goes through this coordinate. Perpendicular, it means we got to flip the sign, so the slope is going to be, so it's positive 2, so it's going to be a negative, and then 2 over 1, it's going to be 1 over 2, so reciprocal. Plot the point 4, 3, and then we're going to go down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Think of it like this. That's getting us further away from the y-axis. So instead of the 1 being on the negative on the numerator, we'll put it on the denominator. So we're going to go up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. And there we go. We got the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the y-intercept is 5. So we have the equation y equals the slope of the perpendicular line is negative 1/2 x, and then it's plus 5. If you were not to work this out, if you wanted to work this out algebraically, you have your slope. We don't have the y-intercept, so you use your point, use your coordinates, so 4, 3. Use your x and y, so you substitute it in to find your b. So that's like it already chose the point for you. half of 4 is 2, or negative 4. I'll just do this. Multiply across the numerators. 1 times negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Add 2. 5 equals b. So there you go. There's your 5 with your slope. All right, 13 and 14. So write equation that passes through the line. So I'm going to do this algebraically. Parallel to, okay, so we need to, I'm going to solve for y, because then I can find my, so first thing you do is find the slope. We got to find the slope, otherwise we don't know what a parallel line is going to be. So it's a subtract x, I write negative x, that 9 is positive, so plus 9. To write it into y equals mx plus b form, I want the x term first. So here's my x term, I want that first. The b is going to be just a number, and that's what the 9 is going to end up being. So then that's negative 3 times y, so we divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Y equals, a negative divided by negative is a positive. 9 divided by negative 3 is a negative. This looks kind of weird with the slope. Well, let's not make it weird. Let's just put a 1 there. And then if you take that 1 out, there's your slope. Slope is 1/3. Cool. We want a parallel line to this. Awesome. So we're going to steal that slope. And we're going to take this coordinate 3, negative 1, and substitute our x and y in. So the y is negative 1, the x is 3. Put it over 1 to represent a fraction. So we multiply the numerators. 1 times 3 is 3. Multiply your denominators. 3 times 1 is 3. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1. And let's do this quick math. So we're going to subtract 1. And the b is going to equal negative 2. So our slope of a parallel line is 1/3 x minus 2. All right, last one. Perpendicular slope. So we need to solve. So I'm going to subtract 5x, subtract 5x. The 3y comes down. Negative 5x, subtract 21. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So our perpendicular slope, so we need to change the sign. So here's the slope of our line. So a perpendicular slope is going to be, switch the sign. So it was negative, it's going to be positive, and then flip the numerator and denominator. So it'll be 3/5. All right, so use that slope with our new equation. Here's our point, negative 5, 1. So I'm going to replace the y with 1. Replace the x with negative 5. Represent negative 5 with the 1, so it's a fraction. Multiply your numerators. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Multiply your denominators. 5 times 1 is 5. Negative 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. And you get 4 equals b. So we have y equals 3/5 from our slope, x plus 4. All right, come